So I'm going to show you how to create what we call a kaleidoscopic image using the Adobe Photoshop app. Okay, so I am going to rotate my screen, sorry, and I am going to open up Photoshop. So it's the P and the lowercase s. This opens up, your new images and everything for you to be doing. You have your projects that you've started below. I'm going to create a new project so I can start this from scratch. And now I want to go to my print sizes. So up at the top, see where I selected print, and you have all these different sizes that will appear. I am going to choose letter, 8.5 by 11. I'm going to click create, and now a blank piece of paper appears on my screen. All right. At this point, what I want to do is I want to introduce an image to this blank piece of paper. So on the left-hand side, I have my tools, and on the right-hand side, I have my layer properties. If I click on, here, it will show my layer just single. If I click here, it will show my layers as a list, and if I click here, it will show my different layer properties, and we'll get to those later on. So I want to introduce an image. So on the left-hand side, underneath the T, the letter T, I can introduce an image. So if I click on photos, it may ask you that it went to your library, so go ahead and let it have access to your library. Go to photos, and remember, I asked you to photograph nature the other day. So what I'm gonna have you do is go ahead and click on one of those images, and you will see that the image opens up in the transform mode. So what transforming is it kind of puts these dots around your image, and so it allows you to make it smaller. We can skew the image now and make it a little bit, smaller or thinner, but don't hit the bar at the bottom. That rotates the image, and we don't want to do that, so I'm going to hit the back button so that our image is 90 degrees again. Once I hit done, I am now going to duplicate this particular layer, all right? But what I'm going to do first is this layer number 1, that blank piece of paper. If you accidentally merge to that blank piece of paper, it's going to really mess you up. So I'm going to go to layer 1, and I'm going to go ahead and delete that layer. So you can see this checkerboard pattern is just showing me that that's transparent. There should be nothing in that area, and you should only have your image as layer number 1. Excuse me. So now that my voice is back, I want to duplicate this particular layer. So layer is highlighted. I'm going to go to the 3 dots on the right-hand side all the way at the bottom, and I am going to go to duplicate that layer. So now with my move tool on the very top left-hand side, I am going to move that little picture out of the way. I now want to transform this particular layer. So underneath my move tool is the transform tool. Notice up at the top where it says done. If I click the flip horizontal or vertical, what it's going to do is it's going to flip my image. I'm going to click done. And now the goal is to piece this together. My suggestion to you is widen up so that you're only looking at a small portion of your design. The more this is enlarged up, the easier it is to piece together. So use 2 fingers on the checkerboard area to zoom in, and once you've zoomed in enough, try to piece that together. If you zoom in on it enough, you'll actually see the pixels making up your image, okay? So we don't want any white lines showing up there. So once your image is put together symmetrically, it looks good, we are going to go to the 3 dots, and we are now going to merge down. So basically what we just did there is we merged that part of our image together. Now, if I move this, you can see it looks good. It's just that particular image. If I go to my transform, it's just that particular image. For some reason, sometimes some weird white random boxes can get put into your image. And that's not a good thing, so we'll see if that happens. I can talk you through how to get rid of those white boxes. But now we have just our section of our image. So I'm going to duplicate this again. I am going to go to transform again. I am going to flip it vertically and hit done. I'm going to zoom in on my image. my move tool is already there and activated. And now I want to move and zoom in on this seam. So now I'm going to move that together nicely. Again, it's really super easy to do once you zoom in on it a lot. I'm going to piece that together. So now that I have this design, oops, I just moved it. So go back to my back button. Of course, it just moved it all the way back. So hey, why not? Let's redo it. Oops. All right. So I'm going to zoom in here, move that to where it needs to be, zoom in on it more, put it back together. So I don't mess it up again. I'm just going to go right to the merge down. And so now that I have that section merged down, I now want to make this image smaller on my screen. So I'm going to go to my transform. I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit smaller so I can fit 4 of these on the page. I'm going to hit done. There's no more flipping. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to move it. I'm going to zoom in on it. I'm going to piece it together as best I can. Right there. Again, if you have a white line showing up, you can move that so that you don't have the white line showing up at all, so that it looks nice and symmetrical. You can also, if you're fortunate enough to have keys, a keyboard, you can also use your arrow keys. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to merge down. I don't even have to zoom back out again, because what I'm going to do, I can zoom back out a little bit, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, duplicate this particular layer. I'm going to move this one now down so that I can make this part symmetrical as well. So feel free to zoom in, move it in there so that I'm lining up this section of the trees right here. So that again, I am looking at a symmetrical design, and move it, zoom in on it enough that it makes it easy to nudge this into place. Once it looks good, don't touch anything else. Go to the 3 dots, go ahead and merge down again. And now we have one giant tile of our design put together. What I want to do now is I want to stretch this out so it's filling up my page. So I'm going to go to my transform tool. I'm going to move that into place. I'm going to move that into place over here. And I'm going to stretch the top part out to the top. I'm going to hit done. And now my design is filling up my page. All right. You may think to yourself, well, that looks pretty cool, but I'm going to make it look even better. So at this point, I am going to duplicate this layer. So now I have 2 of these massive tiles created. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my transform tool, and I am going to now rotate this image. So I can go to rotation angle. Again, I can now choose 90 there so that it perfectly puts that at 90 degrees. And then what I'm going to do is tap that. And now I am going to stretch this so that it is basically filling up my page. So I'm going to stretch that down to the bottom, stretch this one over to the side, bring this one in to the side, so that again, my design is filling up the page. So I just rotated my design 90 degrees. I'm going to hit done. It fills the page, and now this is where the magic happens to make it into a true kaleidoscope. With my top layer highlighted, see how I'm switching between my layers, and now with my top layer highlighted, I'm going to go to layer properties. Now, what I could do is, if I bring down the opacity of that layer, it's like, that top layer is being a little transparent there. But I can actually go to where it says blend mode, and all of these options will appear. These will all do different things to your image. They will make it into more of a true kaleidoscope by clicking and selecting different blending modes. So these will all do different things to kind of blend your images together. Sometimes they knock out the whites, sometimes they knock out the darks. Overlay is kind of like a true, you're seeing both images at the same time. Soft light, it just again varies up your image a little bit more. Once you pick one of these that you enjoy and you like, that's pretty much it for the assignment. We go ahead and we can now click on the arrow out so that we can save our image. We can now go to publish and export. So again, if we choose that, what it's going to do is it's going to save it as a JPEG. We like JPEGs. You can up your quality, and then you can simply hit export, and now it's writing a JPEG, and I am going to save that image so that it is now in my image library, so that I can now post the finished one to Schoology and the discussion group. This is an easy assignment to do really cool things with it. Again, I'm thinking about having you do 2 of these, all right, with 2 different images, just to see what the difference is. So that might be popping up in the discussion group and asking you to do 2 of these. It is very simple to do using Photoshop, the app, in order to create some really cool, interesting designs.